I'm audible. Please confirm in the chat box. Online students, please all of you confirm in the chat box. Am I audible? Hello. Raju. Confirm. Okay. Online students, please confirm. Are you getting my voice clearly? Hello. Okay. Okay. See here. So in previous session, successfully we finished exception handling chapter. The next chapter is triggers. Trigger purpose we discuss. What is trigger? Why trigger we discuss. So just like procedure is named block, our trigger is also named block. Just like in procedure, we are defining set of statements. In trigger also, we are defining some set of statements. Just like procedure is the named block, trigger is also named block. Just like in procedure, we are defining set of statements. In the trigger also, we are defining statements. But for procedure execution, explicit call is required. For this trigger execution, explicit call is not required. When we submit DML, DDL or DML command, automatically trigger will be called and a trigger code will be executed. Okay, so if anyone is asking what is trigger, simply say it is a named block of statements. These statements executed automatically when we submit DDL or DML command. So trigger can be used for three purposes. What are those three purposes? First one is to control DMLs. On Sunday, don't allow DMLs. Monday to Saturday only I want to allow. On Sunday, don't allow DMLs. That is controlling DML. Okay. Next, audit the tables. Auditing means trigger acts like CC camera. This trigger is watching. This is trigger T1. It is watching our EMP table. If any user is accessing our table, this trigger records in the background in this table. Which user accessed, on which date, at which time, which operations he performed, what was old data, after modifying, what is the data. Like this, everything will be recorded. If any unauthorized user is accessing, we can identify in this table, security. Just like CC camera is recording these room actions. Our trigger is recording table actions. If any user is accessing on our table, it records. Next, third purpose is we can implement our own business rules. So these are the purposes of trigger. So how to control the DMLs? This I want to cover now. Before that, we need to know about types of triggers. Say about types of triggers. Pay attention, listen carefully. Types of triggers. How many types of triggers are there? Three types. What are those? Table level trigger and database level trigger. Table level trigger and database level trigger. Table level trigger and database level trigger. Oh, sorry. I'm very sorry. Table level trigger. Second one is schema level trigger. Third one is database level trigger. These are the three types in the trigger. How many types of triggers are there? Three types. What are those? Table level trigger, schema level trigger, database level trigger. In table level trigger, again two types are there. Statement level trigger and row level trigger. Statement level trigger, row level trigger. So three types of triggers are there. First one, table level trigger. Second one, schema level trigger. Third one, database level trigger. In table level trigger, again two types are there. Statement level trigger and row level trigger. What is this table level trigger? Simple. If trigger is created on table, so when we create the trigger, we use on keyword we use when at the time of creation of trigger. So in trigger code, we use on keyword. In the on, if I write table name, this is table level trigger. If trigger is created on table, if trigger is created on table, that is table level trigger. What is schema level trigger? Understand? Schema means user. Suppose I am writing like this on c hash hash batch 2 p.m. dot schema. C hash hash batch 2 p.m. dot schema. Like this I am writing here. Now this trigger created on schema. This is schema level trigger. Suppose in the on class, I am writing database. This is database level trigger. That's it. So there are three types of triggers: table level trigger, schema level trigger, database level trigger. If trigger is created on table, table level trigger. If trigger is created on schema, schema level trigger. If trigger is created on database, database level trigger. In the on class, in the on keyword, if we use a table name, there is table level trigger. In the on keyword, if I write schema name dot schema, this is schema level trigger. In the on keyword, if I write database, that is database trigger. If trigger is created on table, table level trigger. If trigger is created on schema, schema level trigger. If trigger is created on database, database level trigger. Who defines this table level trigger? We are SQL developers, or you can say our job title is PL SQL developer. We define table level trigger. This is our duty. Who defines a schema level trigger and database level trigger? Database administrator. DBA defines. DBA defines schema level trigger and database level trigger. The stable level trigger is defined by SQL developer or PL SQL developer. The schema level trigger, database level trigger is defined by DBA. We should know these points. So for us, this is important because this is not our duty. This is database administrator's duty. And if you are full stack Java developer or full stack .NET developer or full stack Python developer, so for Java developer, Python developer, .NET developer, just to crack the interview question, what is trigger, why trigger, maximum the stable level trigger, practically if you know, benefit for you. In real time, these Java developers, .NET developers, they will not define them. SQL developer defines generally. And these are not frequent operations. Okay, so that is why these are not that much important at real time. But just for cracking interview questions, if you know enough. I explain all. This is our duty. We are SQL developers. We define it. This is DBA's duty. DBA defines schema level trigger, database level trigger. So today completely we are focusing on first category, table level triggers. So topic name is table level trigger. If trigger is created on table, if trigger is created on table, then it is called table level trigger. It has two subtypes. What are those? Statement level trigger and row level trigger. What is statement level trigger? Easy. Statement level trigger means for one SQL statement, one time trigger gets executed. For one SQL statement, one time trigger gets executed. Row level trigger means for one row, one time trigger gets executed. Statement level trigger means for one SQL statement, one time trigger gets executed. Row level trigger means for one row, one time trigger gets executed. Understand this point. Suppose I am defining here trigger T1. In this, I am defining some trigger code. Assume that this is statement level trigger. I am defining another trigger also. This is trigger T2. Assume that this is row level trigger. This first trigger is statement level trigger. This second trigger is row level trigger. So this first trigger is statement level trigger, second trigger is row level trigger. Two triggers are there. You already know when trigger code will be executed. When we submit DDL or DML command, trigger will be called. You already know this point. So I'm submitting DML command like this. Update EMP set salary equals to salary plus 1000. Assume that we are getting output as 13 rows updated. 13 rows updated. Understand now? When I submit DML command like this, internally it calls the trigger. Okay, please confirm, sir. T1 trigger, is it statement level trigger or row level trigger? Huh? Statement level trigger. Here I am submitting one SQL statement. Observe. Update SQL statement or not? For one SQL statement, how many times the statement level trigger will be executed now? One time. For one SQL statement, one time it will be executed. For one update statement, one time trigger gets executed. If that is row level trigger, for every row, one time trigger gets executed. Observe here. Here, how many rows updated here? How many times trigger T2 will be executed now? Are you understanding? This is the difference. When I submit DML command like this, internally trigger will be called. If that is statement level trigger, for one SQL statement, one time trigger will be executed. If that is row level trigger, okay, for every row, one time trigger gets executed. For first row, trigger executed. For second row, again trigger executed. Like this, our trigger code executed for 30 times. For every row, one time trigger executed here. This is the point we have to understand. So if anyone is asking what is statement level trigger, for one SQL statement, this trigger gets executed one time. What is row level trigger? For every row, one time trigger gets executed. For example, in this example, I am submitting one SQL statement. For one SQL statement, the statement level trigger gets executed one time. Okay. If row level trigger is called, okay, it gets executed for 13 times. For every row, one time. Suppose I am submitting like this, where job equals to manager. Like this, I am submitting. Assume that 3 managers are there. 3 rows updated here. Now, how many times this statement level trigger will be executed? How many times this row level trigger will be executed? For every row, one time. That's it. Now we are discussing about how to create table level trigger. Creating table level trigger. See the syntax. Remember the syntax, follow it. Just like to create the procedure, we are writing like this. Create or replace procedure. Procedure name we are giving. But I want to create trigger now. So write trigger. Trigger. On. When trigger code should be executed, then we have to specify here. Here, suppose I am submitting update commands. When I submit this update command, this trigger is called. When this trigger code should be executed, we have to tell. Before update, trigger code should be executed. Or after update, trigger code should be executed. That we have to tell. Okay, before update, trigger should be executed. Or after update, trigger should be executed. That we have to tell now. So that is why we are writing before or after. When trigger code should be executed, I'm telling. I'm submitting update command, trigger called. Okay, before update trigger should be called or after update trigger should be called. We have to decide here based on our requirement. Both are important only. Both are useful only. Sometimes our requirement is before updating trigger code should be executed. Sometimes our requirement will be after update triggered code should be executed. Based on our requirement, we write before or after. Which DMLs? Tell the DMLs list like this. Insert or delete or update like this. Like this one. Means DMLs list. DMLs list. So because of we are defining DMLs here, this table level trigger can be also called as DML trigger. It can be also called as DML trigger. The schema level trigger, database level triggers. In this we give DDL list. That is why these are called DDL triggers. So some authors write like this also. There are two types of triggers. DML trigger, DDL trigger. In the DDL trigger, again two types are there. Schema level trigger, database level trigger. Like this. Some authors may write like this also. Okay, because of we are giving DMLs list, table level trigger is DML trigger. Just a minute, sir. Please wait. On which table, on which table you are creating this trigger? Tell that one. On which table you are creating the trigger? Tell that one. On. Tell the table name. Declare a begin, end, semicolon, slash. In this declaration part, we write here. We declare the variables. Here, we write executable statement. Do you know this or not? Declare begin end. For easy remembrance purpose, I'm telling. This you already know. Declare begin end. In front of this, write like this. Create or replace trigger, trigger name. When code should be executed, tell that one before or after. Here we give DML slash. That is why the table level trigger is called DML trigger. On which table? On which table? Tell that one. Tell the table. Now, is it statement level trigger or row level trigger? Statement level trigger. It is statement level triggers. Then how to define row level trigger? Just add this one line, sir, for each row. You already know for each row is optional here. If for each row is not there, statement level trigger. This is statement level trigger. For row level trigger, add this line extra for each row. Now this is called trigger header. Just like procedure is having procedure header. Trigger is having trigger header, or you can say trigger specification. When trigger code should be executed, that you are specifying. When trigger code should be executed on which table, that trigger specification. When trigger code should be executed, you are specifying trigger specification. Or you can say trigger header. This is trigger body. That's just like procedure is having procedure header, procedure body. This trigger is having trigger header, trigger body. This is header, this is body. That's it, sir. Remember this syntax, follow it. So for today's session, this is the key point. See one example on it. Example on table level trigger. First, see the question here. Define a trigger to don't allow DMLs on Sunday. Don't allow DMLs on Sunday. From Monday to Saturday, if any user is submitting like this, from Monday to Saturday working days, allow them. From Monday to Saturday, if anyone is submitting DML command like this, allow them, because Monday is working day. But on Sunday, if anyone is submitting like this, don't allow. Don't allow. On Sunday, if anyone is submitting this update command, don't allow it. On from Monday to Saturday, if anyone is submitting, allow. Because those are working days. But on Sunday, if anyone is updating, don't allow. Holiday. On Sunday, we don't want to allow any DMLs. This is called controlling DML. We are controlling this DML operation here. What we have to do now, you already know when we submit DML command like this, internal trigger will be called. So when we submit update command like this, internally trigger will be called. The trigger code we are defining. What we are writing here? Create or replace trigger, trigger one. When this trigger code should be executed, that we have to decide now. Understand now? Pay attention, listen carefully. Suppose I am defining after trigger, sir. After trigger means after performing DML operation, trigger will be executed. That is the meaning of after trigger. After trigger means after performing DML operation, trigger code will be executed. After update, this trigger code will be executed. So first update, then trigger. Before trigger means first trigger, then update. Like this. So this is the point we have to understand, sir. Before trigger means first trigger will be executed, then update operation will be performed. After trigger means first update, after update trigger. So after update means after update trigger will be executed. Before update means before update trigger will be executed. So when trigger code should be executed, that you are telling. Based on your requirement, you have to write it. Is this point clear, sir? What is before trigger? Before trigger means first which one will be executed? First which one will be executed? Then DML. After trigger means first DML. Okay, then trigger. So before trigger means before performing DML operation, trigger will be executed. Means first trigger will be executed, then DML. After trigger means first DML will be performed, then trigger will be executed. If it is clear, we can move forward, sir. Write like this. Create or replace. So when user is submitting like this, internally trigger will be called. That a trigger code we are defining. If Sunday don't allow, that code we have to write. So we have to find today's big day now. How to find today's big day, you already know. Which function we have to use to find today's big day? To care of sysdate, comma. Which format we have to use? Which format, sir? Good. Very good. If this condition is true, then that is Sunday. Raise the error. Stop application. Stop the program term. Okay. If Sunday, terminate the program in that line only. Don't allow DML. So raise the error. How to raise the error? Raise application error. Give your own error code. You cannot perform DMLs on Sunday. Close this if and if. This code we have to write in the trigger body. How to define the trigger? Observe. Create or replace trigger name. When trigger code should be executed, we have to tell. Suppose I'm defining after trigger, sir. I'm defining after trigger. After performing update operation on EMP table, trigger should be executed. Like this I'm writing, sir. So what is the meaning of after here? First trigger will be executed. Sorry. First DML operation will be performed. Then trigger will be executed. That is the meaning of after trigger. After performing this DML operation, trigger will be executed. Understand now? If I define after trigger, what happens? Understand here? I am submitting update command like this. So trigger called implicitly. So this is after trigger. So first DML operation performed. I'm applying this command. I'm submitting this command on Sunday. So first DML operation performed. So first it is updating salary, increasing salary. So salary increased here. After that trigger code executed. This trigger code is telling that you cannot update on Sunday. Is it correct or wrong? Wrong. Already salary increased. You are telling that you cannot update on Sunday. Meaningless. Why this problem is occurring? Because of after trigger. After trigger means what? First DML will be performed, then trigger will be executed. First salary increased here. After increasing the salary, it's checking today Sunday or not. So you cannot update on Sunday, it is selling. Mistake. Salary increased here, salary updated here, then it is saying that you cannot update. Meaningless statement you are giving. So that is why this problem is occurring due to after. So don't define after trigger here. We must define before trigger. So before performing DML operation, before update or insert, not only update or insert or delete. On which table? EMP table. Okay, this code should be executed. So in the begin, end, write this code. Find today's weekday. If today is Sunday, then write that. That's it, sir. This is a code. You tell me the code now. On Sunday, don't allow DMLs. On Sunday, don't allow DMLs. So this is controlling DML. So for this, I want to define trigger. What do you write, sir? Create or replace trigger. Trigger name T1. Before trigger or after trigger? Before performing which operations? DML list. Before inserting on EMP table, execute this code. Or before update also, or before delete also. So if insert command or update command or delete command submitted on Sunday, don't allow. Don't allow insertion, updation, deletion on Sunday. Don't allow DMLs on Sunday. Write like this. Declare, begin, end, semicolon, slash. Here write. Find today's weekday. How to find today's weekday, sir? To care of sysdate, comma, div. If today is Sunday, okay, can I write SQL in capital letters? Huh? No. Here dy format is in small letter means to care function returns small letter SQL. Do you know this pattern? So if today is Sunday, then raise the error. Yesterday we discussed it. Raise application error. Give our own error code minus 20,050. Give our own error message. You cannot perform DMLs on Sunday. You cannot perform DMLs on Sunday. That's it. To close this if we are writing and this is a code, sir. Code is over, observe. So what happens here? See, suppose from Monday to Saturday, I am submitting update command like this. Sir. Update EMP set salary equals to salary plus 1000. You tell me, is it statement level trigger or row level trigger? Is it statement level trigger or row level trigger? Statement level trigger. How you are telling? Very good. For each row is not there. If for each row is not there, this is statement level trigger. So for every row, no need to check. For first row, Sunday or not. For second row, Sunday or not. No need to check like that. For one statement, if you check Sunday or not, enough. Okay, no need to check for every row. So that is why we are defining statement level trigger. So I am submitting this update command from Monday to Saturday. Assume today I am submitting. Okay, today is Tuesday, right? Today Wednesday. Wednesday, right? Today is Wednesday. Today I am submitting this command. What happens now? When I submit command like this, internally trigger will be called. When we submit DML command like this, internally trigger will be called. Is it before trigger or after trigger? Before trigger means first trigger will be executed. Then DML will be performed. Understand now? Okay, so I submitted update. So before update, so first trigger executed. So before update, trigger code executed. It is executing now on EMP table. Before update on EMP table, this trigger code it is executing. It is finding today's weekday. Today's weekday is Wednesday. Is Wednesday equals to Sunday? False. Coming out of the if. So trigger executed perfectly. Trigger is not restricting us. Trigger is not raising any error. Then DML performed. We get output as 13 rows updated. So because of working day, it is allowing updation. Suppose same thing I am doing on Sunday, sir. On Sunday, I am submitting same command. Update command submitted. First trigger will be executed because of before trigger for before update. First trigger executed. So it is finding today's weekday. Assume that today's Sunday. So is Sunday equals to Sunday? Yes. True. Enters into if block, raises the error. It displays like this. We get output as error aura minus 20,050. You cannot perform DMLs on Sunday. This message we get. So this raise application error is raising the runtime error. Runtime error occurring means program execution stopped here only. So that is why this update operation not performed because program terminated. Transaction terminated. Are you understanding? That's it. On Sunday it is not allowing now. So is it working or not? Test here. Copy this. Oh, first login. C hash. Batch 6 p.m. Password is Naresh IT. Set server output on. Set server output on. Set server output on. Set server output on. Set verify off. Set page size 200. Line size 200. Clear this. So this trigger code I am copying here. Observe no. See? Okay, just a minute, sir. Some mistake is there. How to see the errors now? If you get like this, how to see the errors? Show errors. Show errors. Okay. So the third line, some mistake is there. It's telling in rise application error. Typing mistake is there. Observe, sir. N missed. Observe. In rise application error here, in the application, N missed here. Let me correct it. In rise application error. Copy this trigger code. Or even if you are saving at the rate path, that like that also you can compare, no problem. Copy this. It is SQL command prompt. Trigger created. Observe, sir. So I'm submitting update command like this. I'm submitting update command like this. Observe now. Update EMP. Set salary equals to salary plus 1000. So when we submit like this, before update, trigger code will be executed. Before update on EMP table, trigger code will be executed. It is finding today's weekday. Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Is Wednesday equals to Sunday? Coming out of the if. Then DML will be performed. Increases salary. So because of not Sunday, allowing 30 rows update. For testing purpose, is this trigger working or not? Our testing purpose, instead of comparing with Sunday, compare with Wednesday, sir. For testing purpose. Okay. Our main intention is for Sunday only. For testing purpose, I am comparing with Wednesday. Now I am submitting update command like this. Update EMP set salary equals to salary plus 1000. When I submit like this, before update, trigger code executed. Before update on EMP table, before update on EMP table, before update on EMP table, trigger code will be executed. It is finding today's weekday. Today's Wednesday. Is Wednesday equals to Wednesday? True. Rise application error. Procedure will be called. With this code, it raises the error. Error is observed. You cannot perform DMLs on Sunday. So this is called controlling DMLs. In many places, we see such kind of controlling DMLs. Okay. Suppose you are booking metro ticket. Yesterday I have given this example. Once again, I'm reminding. You are booking metro ticket at night 1 a.m. At night 1 a.m. You're trying to book metro ticket. It gives message as. So internally, which command should be executed here? Insert. So before update, before insert, it is checking the time here. Before insert, it is checking the time here. How to extract time, you already know. How to extract time? To care of. To care of. Sysdate also contains time or not? Okay, HH24. In 24 hours format, I'm taking it. HH24. Okay, if this hours value not between, what are their timings? 6 to night 11. 11 means 23 or not? Okay, 11 means 23. If time is not between, if time is not between 6 to 23, then rise error. That's it. Okay, that is why it is displaying messages you cannot book ticket at this time. Is it controlling DML only? Your booking ticket means insert DML. That's controlled. Before booking the ticket, it's checking the time. If time is not between morning 6 to 23, rising error. Are you understanding, sir? That's it. So this is about controlling DMLs. Online students, please confirm. Is it clear about first program? Is it clear, sir? Is it okay? Online students, please confirm. Is it clear about first example? Controlling DML. State and statement level trigger and before trigger. This is demonstrating before trigger. This is demonstrating statement level trigger. Okay, and this is demonstrating controlling DML. Online 23 members are there. Only 2 members are understanding. Why others are not understanding, I don't know. Next. Next one is this next example. If you don't listen, you cannot understand, sir. Now I want to cover this second one, auditing. Second purpose I want to cover. One example enough, sir. Enough. And just now I told metro ticket that you can try. Extract the time. If time is not between 6 to 23, then rise error. Not between and operator we have to use. Extract hours. You can try that one. Second one, how to audit the tables actually. But before going to discuss about it, first we should know. Now I want to define after trigger. First example before trigger, sir. I have to define after trigger. First example statement level trigger. Now I want to define row level trigger. After trigger, row level trigger. This is my requirement. See here. But before going to learn about the row level trigger, we should know these two. What are those? Colon new, colon old. This we must know. What is colon new? What is colon old? This we have to learn. To work with row level trigger, this knowledge is must, sir. To work with row level trigger, you must know what is colon new, what is colon old. What is colon new? Variable. Variable means storage location name or not? Storage location name. Colon old. What is colon old? Variable. Are we declaring them? No. When trigger code is executed, at runtime these variables will be created. That is why I'm calling them as built-in variables. Okay, which data type variables? Which data type variables? Percentage row type variables. That is why they can hold entire row. What will be stored in the new? New holds new row. What will be stored in the old? Old row. That's it, sir. What is colon new, colon old variables? Are we declaring them or are they built in? Built in. Which data type variables? Percentage row type. And these are bind variables. That is why we are writing colon here. Bind variables. Okay. So these points only I'm writing here. What is colon new and colon old? These are variables. Okay. Are we defining them or are they built in? Are they user defined or built in? Built in. When trigger code is executed at runtime, these variables will be created automatically. We are not declaring them. These are which data type variables? Percentage row type variables. That is why they can hold entire row. That is why they can hold entire row. And these are bind variables. These are bind variables. That is why we are writing colon in front of them. What is the purpose of colon new? New holds new row. X int. X int. I'm writing like this. X int. What is X here? Variable. What it can hold? Integer data. X can hold integer data. In the same way, what colon new can hold? Colon new. What is colon new? Variable. Which type variable? Row type. What will be stored in this? New row. New row. Hashtag X is the variable for int data type. Colon new is the variable of row type data type. Percentage row type data type. X can hold integer values. X can hold integer values like this. X colon equals to 30. X is holding 30. Colon new holds. New row. It's like integer variable is holding integer value. New colon new variable holds new row. New holds new row. Old holds old row. Colon new holds new row. Colon old holds old row. The names are giving the meanings here. Understand this point now? Here I'm writing DML. Three DMLs are there. Insert, update, and delete. Insert, update, and delete. Three DMLs. So here, what will be stored in the colon new? I'm writing. What will be stored in the colon old? I'm writing. Just apply the common sense here. Suppose this is EMP table. Employee ID, E name, salary. This is EMP table. Okay. Today, new employee joined in the organization. So I'm inserting one record into EMP table. Insert into values. 1001 A salary 20,000. Understand here? You tell me now. Here we are inserting records, sir. This employee newly joined in the organization. So we want to insert this record into the EMP table. Now you tell me, is it new row or old row? Is it new row or old row? New row. So colon new variable holds this new row. This is colon new. And this one is colon old. So this new holds new row, old holds old row. In case of insert, this is a new row. So this row will be stored in new holds, new row. This row will be stored in colon new. This record inserted in the EMP table as well as this record stored in the colon new. So new holds, new row. In case of insert, there is no old row. In case of insert, there is no old row. So old values will be null. Null. Now you tell me, how can we access this A now? Can you guess? How can we access A? Huh? If variable name is R, write R dot E name. But now variable name is not R now. Now variable name is colon new now. How to access A now? Huh? Colon new dot E. If this variable name is R, how to access A? R dot E name. How to access 20,000? How to access 1001? R dot employee. But now variable name is colon new. Tell me now how to access A? Colon new dot E name. How to access 20,000? Colon new dot salary. How to access 1001? Colon new dot employee. How to access this employee name? Colon old dot E name. Very good. That's it, sir. We should know this one. because we write this in the code. Next, suppose I am submitting update command, sir. Update. In case of update, what happens? Understand. Is it clear about insert, sir? In case of insert, colon new variable holds new row. Old holds none. Because in case of insert, there is no old row. See here. Suppose I am submitting update command, sir. Update EMP set salary equals to salary plus 10,000. I am increasing 10,000 rupees salary where employee ID equals to 1001. I am submitting update command. Now, in case of update, what will be stored in the colon new? What will be stored in the colon old? Understand this point now. See here, to the 1001 employee, we are increasing 10,000 rupees salary. Now, what is his new salary now? 30,000. Now, what is the new row now? What is the new row, sir? 1001, 30,000. What was the old row? 1001, 20,000. That's it, sir. Simple. Just apply the common sense. Before update, whatever the row was there, that was old row. After update, whatever the row is there, that is new row. So we are increasing 10,000 rupees salary. Now his salary became 30,000 here. His salary became 30,000. So what is the new row here? 1001A, 30,000. What was the old row? 1001A, 20,000. So before update, whatever the row was there, that was old row. After update, whatever the row is there, that is new row. Next. Is this point clear? Third one, delete. Delete from EMP where employee number equals to 1001. I am submitting delete command. Fresh. Fresh again we are discussing. Okay. Now this salary modified as 30,000. Now new salary is 30,000. Okay. This is record now. 30,000. Understand now? I am deleting this employee record. I am deleting this record. Existing record I am deleting. Means is it new row or old row? Existing row, sir. Old row. Old row only we are deleting. So in case of delete, old holds old row. What will be stored in the new? Null. There is no new row here. Very good. That's it. You tell me now. In case of insert, what will be stored in the new? What will be stored in the old? New holds? What will be stored in the old? Null. In case of update, what will be stored in the new? What will be stored in the old? New holds? New row. New row means after update or before update? After update row. Okay. Colon old holds? Old row. Old row means before update or after update? Before update. Before update row will be stored in the colon node. After update row will be stored in the colon. In case of delete, what is the new value? What is the old value? Old. That's it. You must know this one. If you don't know this, we cannot define row level triggers. We cannot learn row level triggers. To develop row level triggers, this knowledge is compulsory. If you understand this, we can move forward. Is it clear about colon new, colon old? Now, define a trigger to audit EMP table. Okay, now I am giving one example. With this example, you should get clarity on auditing. What is this auditing? I am telling with this state, with this example, you should get clarity. Assume that this is CC camera. This is CC camera. Okay, in that corner, CC camera is there. Observe that CC camera is watching this room only. That CC camera watching this room only. Okay, so this CC camera is watching this room. In that corner, CC camera is there. That CC camera is watching this room only. Okay, so all room actions, it is watching this room. All these room actions, it is recording in the background. Recording in background. All room actions, it is recording in the background in the hard disk. In the hard disk. So why we are maintaining like this? For security purpose. So if accidentally, if any unnecessary thing is happened in the room, we can identify with CC camera. We can identify with this record. In the same way, this is trigger now. This is trigger now. Just like CC camera is watching this room, this trigger is watching this table. If any user is accessing this table, this trigger recording that information in another table. Just like CC camera is recording in hard disk, this trigger is recording in another table here, which user accessed, on which date, at which time he accessed, which operation he performed, what is the new data, what was the old data. So like this trigger is recording. User submits command like this only. User submitted insert command on EMP table like this only. User is submitting insert command like this only. User can see this much only. User cannot understand that we are recording in the background. Security. User sees this much only. Commit. User sees this much only. This user A. This user A watching this much only. He is inserting the record. He is committing this. He does not know that we are recording in the background. But in the background, this trigger is watching this table in the background. When user is submitting insert command after performing DML. So first DML should be performed. Without performing DML, you cannot decide that user performed that action. That is why after trigger is required now. First DML should be performed. Then trigger code should be executed. Okay, this trigger is inserting this information, which user, on which date he accessed, at which time he accessed, which operation he performed, what is the new data, and what was the old data. Everything it is recording in another table. Suppose if any unauthorized user is accessing here, we can identify in this table on which date, which user did fraud. We can identify here. Security. So for security purpose also, we can use trigger. This is called auditing. So for security purpose, we are using this trigger. Just like CC camera we are using for security purpose. This trigger we are using for security purpose. Trigger is watching our table. If any user is accessing, it is recording in background. This only I want to explain now. EMP table already there. If any user is accessing our EMP table, I want to record that information in one another table. That another table name is EMP audit. So create the table EMP audit. Which user accessed, the username I want to store here. On which date, at which time he performed operation. That date time I want to store here. Which user accessed our table? That user name I want to store. On which date and which time he stored? Timestamp data type. Okay. Which operation he performed? Insert or update or delete. Which operation he performed? What was the old data? What was old employee number? What was the old e-name? What was the old salary? What is the new employee number? New employee name. After modification, what is the data? New salary. Like this. Like this, we want to record in the background. Now, understand here? Tell me now. You tell me, sir. How to access new employee number? Do you know this or not? How to access new employee number? Colon new dot employee number. That value we have to insert here. How to access new employee name? The new dot. Okay. How to get new salary? Colon new dot salary. To get old employee number? Colon old dot employee number. Colon old dot e name. Colon old dot salary. How to access this data? How to insert this data? You already know. Insert into EMP audit values. These values only we want to insert. Here old data we are inserting. Here we are inserting new data. Which user access I want? To get current user name. To get current user name, there is one ready-made function is there. The ready-made function name is user. I already told this in the functions chapter. In the other functions, I told this one. Select user. Okay, current user is C # batch 6 p.m. sir. By mistake, maybe I logged in as batch 6 p.m. No problem. By mistake, I logged in like this. Okay, actually, I have to log in as batch 2 p.m. But by mistake, at the time of login, maybe I have given 6 p.m. Okay, so that is why current user is 6 p.m. Okay, no problem. Now, how to get current user name? To get current user name, use the function user. This value only we are inserting here. User value. User is the function. That user function returned value we are storing. Current user, which user accessed we are storing. Now, how to get current system date and time? System. Current date and time we are getting observed. User function is returning. This user function is returning current user name. System stamp is returning current system date and time. So here insert system stamp. Now all values you know. How to get old data you know. How to get new data you know. How to get current user name you know. User function. How to get current system date and time also you know. Which user accessed, on which date at which time, what was the old data, what is the new data, we are recording here. Now we need to identify which operation we perform. For this, we need to write some code. So to identify operation type, there are 3 trigger predicates are there. 3 trigger predicates are there. What are those 3 trigger predicates? First one is inserting. Second one is updating. And third one is delete. You can understand like those are keywords. They return Boolean value. Suppose I am submitting insert command. Sir. I am submitting insert command. If I submit insert command, inserting returns true. Updating returns false. Because I submitted insert here. So updating false only. Deleting false. Like this. Like this, they hold Boolean value here. They return Boolean value. Inserting, updating, deleting, these are called trigger predicates. In the trigger code, we can use them. You can understand like those are keywords. They return Boolean value. In case of insert, inserting returns true, updating, deleting returns false. So in case of insert, I am submitting insert command here. So in case of insert, inserting returns true, updating and deleting returns false. Suppose I am submitting update command here. If I submit update command, updating returns true. Updating returns true. Inserting and deleting returns. Because I submitted update, I am updating here. So updating returning true, inserting deleting are returning false. If I submit delete command, deleting returns true, updating inserting returns false. Is it clear about trigger predicates? So take one variable like this, OP. OP, one variable I am taking. Take this as varchar 2 type. Why I am taking this variable? I want to store operation type in this variable. I want to store operation type in this variable. Just a minute. Understand here? See, here OP variable created. So because of this declaration, OP variable will be created. Why I am taking OP variable? To hold operation type. Write code like this. If inserting, then. Okay, suppose I am submitting insert commands. I am submitting insert command here. If I submit insert command, inserting returns true. If inserting returns true, OP value should become insert. OP value should become insert here. OP value will become insert. So if user is submitting insert command, inserting returning true. So if inserting is returning true, OP value should become insert. The OP value store here. Operation type is insert. We are identifying operation type. Observe. Are you understanding? So if user is submitting insert command, inserting returns true. So OP value should become insert. Insert. In the same way, else if this condition false means user didn't submit insert command. Check another one, updating. Updating true means user submitted update command. If user is submitting update command, OP value should become update. Else if deleting, then OP value should become. So suppose first condition false means user didn't submit insert. This one also false means it didn't submit update. You can write else also, no problem. For clarity, I'm writing else if deleting. Then OP value should become delete. Even if you write else, nothing wrong. OP equals to delete. To close this if, we are writing end if. That's it, sir. With this code, we are getting this operation type. Understand now? Suppose user is submitting update command like this. Update emp set salary equals to salary plus 1000. If user is submitting update command, so inserting returns false. Updating returns true. So OP value will become update. OP value will become update. That OP value insert here. Operation type is update. We are capturing operation type. Observe. So that OP value we are inserting. That's it, sir. This is the code. Now this code only we are writing. Now everything we know. Observe. How to get current username, we know. How to get current system date time, we know. How to identify operation type, we know. For this, we are taking the help of trigger predicates. How to access old data, we know. How to access new data, we know. This one only I'm writing now. Take new file, create or replace trigger with a trigger name. Okay, I'm going trigger name as T2. When this trigger code should be executed? After DML. Okay, before DML, you cannot decide that user performed that action or not. So that is why after DML only record it. Before DML, how can you decide DML performed and you can record? After performing DML only record it. Okay. So after insert or update or delete on EMP table. Okay. Remember that colon new, colon old. We can use them in row level triggers only. Colon new, colon old. In row level triggers only we can use them. So this is row level trigger. For row level trigger, we have to write for each row. Declare, begin, end, semicolon, slash. To hold operation type OP. Now tell me the code, sir. OP, varchar 2 of 10. Identify operation type. How to identify? If inserting, then OP colon equals to insert. Else if, okay, updating or deleting, any order is not important here. Deleting, then OP colon equals to delete. Else OP colon equals to update. To close this if, we are writing end if. So just we are getting operation type here. This is varchar 2. Now insert the records into EMP audit table. Insert into which table? EMP audit. Values. Observe now which values we want to insert. Observe here. See here. See which values we want to insert. How to get current user name? User function I'm calling. User function returns current username. That current username will be inserted there. System stamp. Current system date and time will be inserted. OP variable value will be inserted. OP has operation type. Next, colon old dot. Colon old dot employee number. Colon old dot ename. Colon old dot salary. In the same way, colon new dot. Colon new dot salary. Colon new dot ename. Colon new dot employee number. Remember that we never write commit or rollback in the trigger. Remember this point. Interviewers ask like this: can we write a rollback or commit in the trigger? No. We never write it. If user submit commit, this action will be committed. If user submits rollback, here we are recording user's action of EMP table only. Here this user's EMP table action only we are recording in the EMP audit. If this user is submitting commit, that commit will be applied to trigger also. Suppose if user is submitting rollback, it will be applied to trigger also. If you commit here, problem. If you commit here, if user is rollbacking, problem. So that is why we cannot write commit or rollback in the trigger. Remember this. That's it. Auditing is over. Working on a test now. First EMP audit table is not ready. Let me create EMP audit table. See, sir, how to create the table you already know. So directly I'm creating this table. Observe, table name is EMP audit. Username Bearcat2 type. Operation date time, timestamp type. Operation type Bearcat2. Old employee number, old e-name, old salary. New employee number, new e-name, new salary. I'm creating the table. Okay, just a minute. So part not create table. Some part not copied perfectly. Okay. Create table not copied perfectly. Okay, no problem. Name is already used by existing object. This is my old batch user. So that is why name already existed. It is selling. That existing table I'm dropping. Okay. Now fresh EMP audit table I'm creating. Fresh EMP audit table create observe, sir. So in this user actions I want to record. Okay, observe now. Create this trigger first. So this is the trigger for performing auditing on EMP table. Trigger create observe. See, sir, trigger created. Okay, now open and see EMP audit table data. Nothing is there in the EMP audit observe. I'm submitting insert command. Insert into EMP audit. Sorry, insert into EMP. Employee number, e-name, salary, values. 1001 employee, A employee, his salary is 20,000. This record I'm inserting observe. Okay. Someone is controlling us. Who is controlling us, sir? T1 trigger. So T1 trigger is controlling us. So let me drop that T1 trigger. Drop trigger. T. Okay. I'm submitting this insert command now. See here. One row created. User can see this much only. User can see this much only. But in the background, when user is submitted this insert command, DML command, after DML, our trigger code executed. This trigger code is recording this information in the EMP audit. In the EMP audit, this action recorded. User can see this much only. User cannot understand that we are recording in the background. But in the background, it is recorded, sir. Observe here. Select star from EMP audit. See here. Which user access our table? Batch 6P. On which date? 1st July. At which time? 3:52. Which operation he performed? Insert. In case of insert, what is the old data? Null. What is the new data? This is a new. So with this, you should get clarity on old new. Now suppose I am increasing 10,000 rupees salary, or I am increasing 1,000 rupees salary to all managers. Observe here. Update. EMP. Set salary equals to salary plus 1,000. To whom I am increasing? Where job equals to manager. To all managers, I am increasing. 3 managers are there. 3 rows updated. 3 times T2 executed. First manager record recorded in the EMP audit. Second manager record recorded in the EMP audit. Third manager record recorded in the EMP audit. For every row, one time trigger should be executed here. 3 actions should be recorded. So 3 times record trigger should be executed. Commit. See, sir, 3 actions recorded or not? At 3:53 on 1st July 26, batch 6 p.m. user. On 1st July 26 at 3:53, He performed update operation. Before update, this was the data. After update, this is the data. See here, clerk salary before update to 12,450 old salary. New salary 13,450. Observe. Old is holding old row, new is holding new row. In the case of update, last one delete. Okay, I am submitting delete command now. Delete from EMP where employee number equals to 1001 record I am deleting here. Maybe two rows are there with this employee number. That is why two rows deleted. See in the EMP audit. See, two rows deleted. Observe. So in case of delete, old holds old row, new holds null. So with this you should get clarity on colon old and colon new. In case of insert, old null, new holds new row. In case of update, old holds old row, new holds new row. Before update row, after update row. In case of delete, old holds old row, new values will be null. So with this, you should get clarity on old and new. So suppose if user is submitting rollback, our trigger action will be rolled back. Observe. Suppose user is submitting rollback here. This delete action roll back here. See, last two delete actions roll back. Observe. See, delete actions roll back. If user is committing, that will be applied to our trigger also. If user is rollbacking, that will be applied to our trigger also. But we never write commit or rollback in the trigger. So this is about auditing. Is it clear about auditing, sir? I'm stopping the session here. Tomorrow, I explain how to perform, how to define our own business rules, how to define our own constraints. Constraint means rules. How to define our own rules. Okay, using triggers. So this point I will explain. One example I will give. So after that we discuss about schema level trigger, database level trigger. So with the triggers topic will be finished. Next chapter also I start tomorrow. Tomorrow definitely I finish triggers topic and I give introduction on collections. This collection topic is very, very important at real time. Cursor has some drawbacks. To avoid those drawbacks, we are using collection. But collection is also having some drawback. So that is why in real time we use both cursor and collection. So those things very clearly we discuss in the next chapter. Thank you everyone. See you tomorrow. Online students, if you have any doubts, type in the chat box. Otherwise, you can leave. Session is over. Yes, any doubts? If you have any doubts, type in the chat box. Otherwise, you can leave the session. Session is over. Next. Okay. I'm leaving the session. See you tomorrow.